Hey guys, so this is what if, Benton was in Young Justice part 11, guys! And this is where I'm going to be a lot more, this is, the first part where I'm going to get a lot more juicy into the Omnitrix lore of this what if. Now, this what if is mainly going to be focused on Blue Beetle and Ben's, or Jaime as in Ben's journey to Galvin Prime, because it's going to take at least like 2 episodes for them to get to Galvin Prime, and then it's going to take a whole, pretty much, another part to, what he's going to be doing when he gets to Galvin Prime. Now, let's dive into, what Earth is going on. As last episode, as we see that, Jaime and Ben left planet Earth to be on a journey on Galvin Prime, as I also said in that part, that, the time that Ben's off-world, as Kenny Tennyson would have been taking up his role, aka his future son, meaning that, time travel would have been brought into this story. Now, as during the beginning of the episode, where we see Black Spider interrogating some sort of, big boss, doing some of the League of Shadows dirty work, as he would hunt them down and kill the pretty much person that was running, aka some sort of rock-powered metahuman, killing the pretty much boss or the person he was hunting down and killing him pretty quickly, as this would bring attention to somewhere in the world. As you see that Dick Grayson with Barbara Gordon, as they would just, be doing their thing, as they would be together in the canon, and as they would be doing this, as we would see as they would have been, kissing, as they would be interrupted by pretty much a distress call or a type of, get together, as Ramon, or pretty much Ramon would have been still pretty much worrying about his sister, as he would be talking to Halo, as pretty much the duration of like the first couple minutes of the episode goes exactly the same. Nothing really changes too much. Basically, as we switch away from Earth for a while, as we could switch to, the space travel with Jaimez and Ben. As Ben is on the, pretty much in the spacecraft that they borrowed from some tech from Star Labs, as they would have been on a space adventure going on a couple day, like a whole week long journey to get there to Galvin Prime, as they would have started their first light year travel, their first light jump, as they would have landed in some sort of solar system, the same solar system that would be a couple of years away from Krypton, or the solar system of Krypton. As he would have been looking around, as he would have seen a couple of green lights pass by their spacecraft, seeing Green Lanterns going to a nearby planet that's under distress. As Ben would have seen this, as he would have, said they need to help them out. As Jaime would have said, they're Green Lanterns, they should be able to help themselves out, right? As they would look at the planet, as they would have seen some sort of light beam come from the planet, as it would have cracked a hole in the planet slowly starting to collapse. As they would have seen this, as Ben would have opened up the Omnitrix, going for Alien X, or at least going for some sort of alien that could, like Gravitac, that could probably save the gravitational pull of the planet. As he would have gone for Gravitac, as Ben would have transformed into a, alien merged version of Gravitac and Heat Blast. As this version of Gravitac would have been actually way OP, as he would still have his ability or his control over gravitational pulls and gravity in like its, being. He would still have control over gravity. Plus, he would be able to, recreate the gravitational pull on the sun on any small object or person, as he would also be able to recreate the same amount of strength or the same amount of heat of the sun effortlessly from the body of Gravitac and his Heat Blast for merged form. As he would have been able to, every fire blast this Gravitac would have been high enough to melt pretty much, the strongest of Kryptonians, to burn their skin even, being able to do irreparable damage to any planet, even being able to, pretty much put it simple, if Gravitac went if this version of Gravitag went completely like just AWOL, he could most likely burn or literally disintegrate any planet just by standing on it for longer than 2 hours, as he would have been able to, well, do a crazy, unmatchable amount of strength with his power. Now, as he would be, as they would make their way to the planet, as Gravitax near sheer of him just standing in the ship would have caused these ships' oxygen levels and heat, pretty much pressure and heat, levelizers to go off, as they would have quickly had to land a rough landing, as he would have let Gravitax jump out the, pretty much, well, what was it, the shooting or the side of the spacecraft, as he would have jumped out jetpack style, as he would have used his fire heat blast abilities to pretty much make himself fly towards the, chaos or trouble. As he would have seen some sort of alien tyrant would have been using some sort of telepathic abilities to destroy the planet and conquer it, or trying to at least. As Ben would have used his fire abilities to burn the tyrant and literally, like, should have just knocked out the tyrant. As the tyrant would have been left like, let's just say, would have been left like Luke Skywalker after, let's just say Anakin had the high ground, sorry. So yeah, the space tyrant would have been burnt and parts of his body would have been disintegrated off. As in his arm and his leg would have been disintegrated off, and the rest of his body would have looked like, let's just say, really badly burnt pizza. Now, as Ben would have used this time to pretty much try to use his gravitational powers to reconnect the planet's solar system and gravitational pull, bringing its pretty much oxygen levels and its pressure and the pressure on the planet to a, pretty much steady pulse or steady cool, as he would stay there for a couple minutes, pretty much cementing the gravitational pull on the planet and letting go. As he would have left the planet after he would have been saved, the Green Lanterns, noticing it was Ben Tennyson, some of them that knew tales from other Green Lanterns that visited Earth, would know about Ben Tennyson. Alongside the Plumbers would have also been, good alliances with the Guardians of Oa, meaning that the Guardians would have sometimes allowed a lot of Plumbers would have been Green Lanterns. Actually, in this continuity, a lot of Plumbers would have been Green Lanterns. About like 4 or 3 of them would have been Green Lanterns each year. Now, pretty much Ben would have left the planet saying goodbye to the Green Lanterns. The Green Lanterns, or one of the Green Lanterns, offering to escort them to their planet or their destination they're trying to go to, as they would have denied this, saying that the journey is everything in it, as Ben would have de-transformed quicker than usual, as he would have looked at the Omnitrix. The Omnitrix, for some reason, looking like it was breaking down, looking like it was, let's just say, like it was not being able to keep up the transformations for a long time. But as he would just shrug it off, thinking it was something wrong with the Omnitrix, as he would just fix it when he gets there to Azimuth, as he would see that Ben and Beetle, or Ben and Hymes, would have made their way back to pretty much to their, pretty much journey to Galvin Prime, as they would have gotten back in the ship and started to fly back to Galvin Prime, or fly back in their route to Galvin Prime. After that, we would get switched back to Earth, as this would be the same time where Geostorm or Ramon would have went to Infinity Island to confront pretty much Ra's al Ghul or the League of Shadows about his sister missing, as he would have gone there with Forager and Halo, going there intending to find his sister and looking for his sister. As he would have gone there, basically him fighting the League of Shadow members, or pretty much one of the right-hand man for Ra's al Ghul, as Geo would have used his abilities and would have started to, well, pretty much go toe-to-toe with him. As we see, the rest of the team would have been on their way to Infinity Island to assist Ramon, or try to get him before he gets himself killed. As you see that Ramon would have been using his powers, it would have tried to, well, just say kill. Just simple, he would try to kill the antagonizer for the fight, or the right-hand man for Ra's al Ghul. Now, as they would start to fight around the temple area of Infinity Island, as we would see that he would have gone toe-to-toe, and easily the League of Shadow member would have been able to, well, one-shot the whole team, and basically pretty much overall just overpower most of them. As he would have walked towards pretty much Halo, is signaling that he was going to kill Halo. As he would have grabbed Halo by the arm or the head in her headlock, put her in a headlock before she can run away. As he would have tried to use her powers against him, but he would have cracked her neck before she could use her powers, as she would have died. As Remo would have went berserker, as he would have used his powers and basically just go full-on crazy mode. I mean, he was going God mode. He was just going crazy. A little bit more peed off than he was in canon, or in continuity-wise, as he would have been using a lot more power. Now, as he would have been hit with some technology from the other League of Shadow members that were coming out of the shadows alongside Jason, or it's the ninja, but we all know it's Jason Todd. It's Redhead. As Ramon would have been overpowered by some technology, as he would have tried to fight back against it for a solid 15 minutes. For a solid 15 minutes, Ramon was getting shocked with electricity pulsing through his veins. Eventually, he would pass out, and the rest of the team would pretty much, well, the rest of the team would have been, well, tagged with some sort of power inhibitors, as they would have thrown Halo's dead, lifeless corpse in the cell room they were in, as Ramon would have blamed himself for her death, him seeing himself as at default, as we would have seen Halo would have glue orange, and would have glue purple, as her neck would have snapped back and she would have came back to life, as Halo would have been confused on what was happening, as Ramon would have told her that I thought you were dead. As Ra's al Ghul from afar on the pretty much camera display would have seen this, as he would have been interested in her powers, interested in her and what she is. As we get switched away from this, as the rest of the episode would have gone similar the same, but when the rest of the team shows up there, like Black Lightning and the rest of the original members of the Young Justice would have shown up there, them getting ready to fight against, the Shadow members. As they were about to fight, and they started to fight, as Jason would have fought against Dick, and basically, pretty much, Connor would have started to fight against multiple other League of Shadow members. As this would all go, south pretty fast, and a bunch of fighting would have started to happen, as pretty much for Geo would have used his powers near Megan, knocking her out since his powers are fire-based. As Black Lightning would have used his powers against Jason, or the ninja dude, as they would have started to one-shot most of the team, but fight going, pretty much back and forth. As Tigress would have gone back, as Tigress and the rest of the team would have started to fight even more and more, eventually Ra's al Ghul would have jumped in, as he would have told them to stop. As we would see that Kenyu from afar would have been seeing this from a mountain area, watching all of this, as he would have been looking on some sort of codex on his wrist, as he would have been wearing a type of outfit that he would wear during the Omniverse pretty much series, as he would be wearing a vigilante type suit, a 21st century type hero costume. As Kenny would have used his power, as he would have just been wearing an outfit similar to this, as he would have been watching pretty much the fight. As the fight would have came to a halt, as Ra's al Ghul would have jumped in, Geo still wanting some more smoke, as he would still be peed off by the right-hand man of Ra's al Ghul, killing his love interest, or, Halo, but Halo still being alive, though. Now, Ra's al Ghul would still talk to everybody, and the fight would have gone not similar, but it would have gone exactly the same. So, there's no really point of me narrating it if you've seen episode 6 of season 3 of Young Justice, pretty much. Rescue OP. If you've seen the episode, you've seen it. Now, as the fight would have came to a close, as everybody would have left Infinity Island after that cost, as we would see that Damian Wayne would have been introduced with pretty much, Talia al Ghul being introduced as well, as the team would have left. Now, as Geo's body would have, his powers would have melted away his outfit, as he would have had to borrow some spare clothes from Connor, as pretty much the team would have scolded the three heroes, but would have said that you guys are lucky to be alive. Now, as I'm going to leave off that part of the episode off, as we get switched back to space-time, as we get switched to, well, Ben and Blue Beetle. Now, Ben and Blue Beetle would have been on their way to Galvin Prime about like 2 or 3 days away from it by now. 2 or 3 days away from it by now, meaning that they would get there in about 2 to 3 days. As they would have been on their way there, as they would have came towards some sort of ambulance, as a meteor shower would have passed by them, as they would have had to dodge some meteor showers, eventually them being hit and them having to pretty much drop off by a nearby planet to get repairs, as they would have, well, landed on a planet, the home planet of, well, of Big Chill. As they would have gone to the home planet of Big Chill, them getting on the planet, as they would have seen that it was a half ice and half fire planet. As they would have seen this all happen, or they would have seen this planet, as they would try to look around for technology enhancements here, as they would just see temples and areas. As eventually in this continuity, it would be a repair shop in this area. As they would have picked their spacecraft and then repair, them saying that they would have to wait additional 12 hours for the ship to be repaired because it was really bad damage to the propulsion beam and also the gas tank from the meteor that hit them. Now, as they would have to stay there on the planet for about 12 hours as they would start to explore the planet. As Ben would have never been on another home planet as one of his aliens, other than, other type of planets or pretty much ruins of his aliens' home planets. Now, as he would walk around the planet, eventually seeing some of the natives there, seeing like blue versions of his, pretty much Big Show transformation, standing in front of a temple, guarding it. As in this continuity, just for, sake wise, the oxygen there would be able for them to, they would be able to breathe it. Basically, Ben, since he would be normal human, and since the Blue Beetle Scarab would have, taken in, pretty much advanced that, pretty much power-wise and oxygen-wise, so he would have to make up for that. So that's what pretty much the Blue Beetle Scarab did. And for terms of just overall, let's just say, pretty much convenience, as the Omnitrix would automatically put a tiny little force field around Ben, giving him a type of oxygen mask. As pretty much they would have been walking down the planet, as we would zoom out and we would zoom back to planet Earth, as we would see Geo and Halo be handed their new hero costumes, as the team would have been told that they were going to start training. Now, as we get switched back and forth with, Vandal Savage's story in this, continuity, but his story isn't really important in the grand scheme of things if you've seen this series. And it's not really important for Ben's story yet. Now, as we get a little rundown of, pretty much Vandal Savage's whole life, his, immortality and how he's used it over the years, as we see that pretty much Geo and Halo go to the beach area as they start to get trained. As we get switched to pretty much, back to the planet, as we see that, a couple hours later, we see that Jaime and Ben are running for their lives away from, angry Big Chills, as Fire Big Chills would have been trying to blast them down and kill them, as Ben would have dodged more attacks, as Jaime would have said to transform already and tell them that we're not here to fight, as Ben would have said, fine, but it's not working, I don't know why. Basically, Jaime saying, whatever, I'll do it myself. As he would have conjured up or, pretty much made a type of sound gun, as he would have started to take down the Big Chill, the Big Chill aliens left and right, as one of them would have gotten a good hit on Jaime's ribs, as he would have been pushed down to the ground. As the Scarab would have, made him push his body right back up, as Jaime would have conjured up some swords, and as he would start to slice towards the Big Chill alien species. As Ben would have been tweaking with the Omnitrix, trying to figure out why was it not working. Eventually, him getting a random transformation, and him just slamming down the Omnitrix, not really looking at the silhouette of the transformation. As he would have transformed into a combination of Diamond Head and Four Arms, as he would have seen this and basically started to freak out, seeing this is kind of cool. As he would have started to, he had the same strength as Diamond Head and Four Arms combined, being the power of a pretty much, what was it, of a Diamond Head and a, I can't remember their species names, but Diamond Head and Four Arms powers would have been mixed together as a whole strength, basically super strong, Hulk levels of strength maybe, and basically would have also had the same speed and strength of pretty much Four Arms with the density and powers of Diamond Head and durability, as he would have used this and conjured up a couple Diamond Swords, as he would have thrown them with both Four Arms, as he would have conjured up 4 Diamond Swords, throwing them and ricocheting off of, firewalls and stuff like that, as they would eventually stab through some of the big chills, as one of the big chills would have been pinned down to a wall by their wing being impaled by one of the swords, as they would have been interrogated, pretty much been asking them, why were you chasing us? They would have said that you walked on sacred land. As we get switched in a flashback, as Ben and Jaimes were walking past secret ruins, as they would have been walking on, let's just say, graves of big shows, but it would just look like a normal rocky alien floor, with it just having a huge alien symbol on it, so you couldn't see it unless you flew over it. So it just looked like a rocky alien floor, or pretty much walkway. As they would have said, well, we're sorry, we didn't know. Basically, they're saying this is why we don't let foreigners, people like you, humans. As pretty much Ben would have said, whatever. Basically, him knocking out the Big Show with one little flick to the head, since he would be a lot more stronger than, Four Arms and Diamond Head combined. As they would have started to walk off, pretty much Jaime's asking, how are you changing into combinations of your aliens? As Ben would have said, I don't know. That's why we're on this mission, to figure out what's going on with the Omnitrix. As we see that, well, Jaimes would have said, let's get back to the ship. It's probably been 12 hours already. As they start to walk off. As they start to go down to the repair shop, as the ship would have been repaired a couple hours ago. As the running would have taken up a lot of hours. And would have taken up a lot of time, surprisingly. As the repairman would have said, you're on your way. That would be 20,000 credits. And 20,000 credits are like space, pretty much money in this universe. As Ben would have just broken off a piece of his red diamond and gave it to him. As in this type of sector of this, solar system where Big Show's space lives, basically the diamonds of any type of diamonds are very rare to find on this planet or any other planet in the solar system, meaning that they're super valuable, way more valuable than even some planets in that solar system. Yeah, so basically the repairman said, thank you, this is way more valuable than 20 credits. As he would have been bowing down to Ben and Jaimes. They would have just walked off and being kind of, pretty much embarrassed by this. But as they would walk off and they would get back on the ship, as they would fly off back on their journey to Galvin Prime. As Ben and Jaimes would have made their way back to Galvin Prime, as we would have been flying down there. As I'm going to leave off their story there until the next part. Now we switch back to Earth, as we get switched to pretty much the end of episode 7, Evolution. Since episode 7 doesn't really have anything big about it. Other than that, we see that Kenny is in the background of most of the episodes, just, looking over the heroes, as we see that he would have been in the ship where Venom Savage would have killed one of his pretty much associates, as he would have pretty much just watched over, most of the historical events in this series, as he would have gone back to time, or would have gone back into time for a specific reason, to stop something from happening in the past that was never supposed to happen in this universe. Now, I'm going to leave it up here, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you guys like and subscribe. And as always, guys, have a blessed day. Before I go, stay tuned, because I am going to be uploading a stop motion probably this Friday. Or I'm going to be uploading a stop motion next Friday. But at least one of these Fridays. Also tomorrow, I am going to be uploading what if Deku was in Young Justice, and that's going to be really interesting since I'm going to put a lot more effort, a lot more action in that episode. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. See you guys later. Deuces.